There we go.
Get pretty monster delay on our side here. So Purity,
Nuke level 1.
level 1 nuke is what we've got. And Czar is going to reap the rewards there. Purity is going to as well, but it's going to take him an extra minute or so.
Yeah. Czar just going straight up towards TOF.
Looked like he was going to grind and then thought differently of it. Yeah, when you've got double nuke, levels, the only issue with levels is survivability.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem
Did they even go in white?
Did they... What was that?
Did they even go into the white magic shop?
They... I don't think they... Yeah, no, I don't think they did. I didn't see it. Yeah, I don't disagree with what Purity did at all.
Czar's not even going to check chests.
Exit and harm 4 were in spots 2 and 4. Cabins are somewhat reasonable price, as are heal. Pro rings are in Canaria.
It is worth noting Czar did not check chests in TOF.
Yeah, Purity's definitely taking the more traditional route here of level, save outside, grab the chest, take on Grom.
Oh, Czar's gonna regret that.
Well, I'm pretty sure Czar's gonna swing by, grab Matoya's cave and this. Yep, Tristal rightly pointing out why he does not use that strat.
Okay. See what happened over here.
Looks like Zara's just gonna save him and fight the pirates. Oh, might have a sub 4-minute ship. Don't see that too often. Harm 4 is viable, Exit is not. And that's the price you're going to pay for double nukes.
Yep.
I'd stay with
possibly triple nuke.
Well, yeah, possibly triple nukes by the end, for sure. It's, I think, a small price to pay, and the gamble's not that bad. Warp has 5 more levels it can be in to be useful.
Yep.
No, the Red Wizard will never be able to learn the slot 2 and slot 4 spells. The only one who ever will is a White Mage or White Wizard. Ah, right. Yes, I misspoke.
Heal 2, Harm 2, and I think Fog.
Mm-hmm. I would consider Heal 2 the only valuable spell there, and Quake is of marginal value here. Oh, Zard picking up Lock and it's like Quake on both.
Defense and Pro Ring at Matoya.
Fantastic early game pickups. You'll really use the defense sword a lot more late game than early game, but it's good to have it. Especially if you're running black belt, you never know when you're going to get stuck solo after you grind and need to buff yourself up, say in a fight with Chaos or Tiamat.
So, any expectations or predictions for this run?
That's for you, chat. Any predictions? We know where TNT is. So, do you have predictions on where any of the other progression items are? Any other spell predictions or enemy predictions? I'll let you say it before I commentate Curse then.
People are praising for Warmech.
Never too early.
That would just be mean, Kaiten. Slab locked in Sea Shrine locked room.
As many times as I've seen people call for that, I don't think I've ever seen it happen.
Isn't that essentially vanilla Slab?
No, Vanilla Slab is in the it's in the Mermaid's floor of Sea Shrine. The 3 chests on the long scrolling room.
Okay.
We have a classic slab and bottom of marsh locked room. These are picking up some caps. That all-important point of defensive protection.
Run verified.
At this stage of the game, I think every point has value.
Purity picks up his ship. We'll see where he goes next.
Be out predicting the long walk room on Earth Floor 3 the Crown.
After how long it took me to find Crown earlier today, I want Crown as far away as it can possibly be for these 2 rooms.
Czar making his return trip to Temple of Fiends. Going to be making at least one more after this. Possibly 2 if the Crown brings him here.
Czar is going to find his TNT.
There we are. You are now free to blow things up. Impurity is just going right to Elfland.
He'll check level 3 and 4 magic. Really no need for him to go make a dip in Marsh Cave as of yet, so after this I imagine he'll probably head up to Dwarves.
I would imagine so. I don't know how much money he's got on him for these spells, but we'll need a little bit to get some useful spells in level 4 or 3. I've seen him take a few pickup fights here. So I imagine he's at least got some money. The multiplier for the round 3 seed is high enough to make these fights worth it just for the gold. We have an Ice 3 in level 3.
Saber level.
Saber might be useful for the Red Mage.
Fade level 3, Cure 4 level 3. Oh.
That is a stacked level. A little bit of feel bad they're not able to alert it.
And Fog 2 is at level 4.
And nothing super useful in level 4 black. Okay, anything here? Nothing notable. He does not get wooden armor for his thief. I don't think we're going to see Bane get picked up. Not for the cost at this stage of the game.
Nope.
If you see Bane strats, it's going to be from the Bane sword. I don't think we've seen any crazy enemy skills yet either.
I haven't seen any.
You want to? I think the philosophy is typically you want to see those if you're running earlier rather than later. Get them out of the way because there's only a limited number of death touch
slots.
enemies or enemies with blaze, for example, things like that.
10 gold chests found. Most important chest.
That and wear sword. Narek the Dwarf is going to, depending on who you believe, he may sacrifice himself for the greater good of the light warriors here and build that canal, or he just disappears from existence. Either way, you're free to move about the rest of the world.
Quick bounce over to Melmern to check level 5 magic, maybe, and then probably head to Crystal Lake. Or Crescent Lake.
Yep. Crystal Lake's a different video game. That's Friday the 13th.
Yep.
Definitely don't want to go there. Dude, yeah. Wow. Wall, heal 3, and life.
And warp. Warp and lit 3.
There's your warp. Yeah, lit 3 might be worth learning. It's not a necessity now because you've got level 1 nukes. They're spammable.
Yeah.
Pretty much from the word go. Lit 3 is kind of a backup. If you somehow manage to run out of nuke charges, which is not really likely.
Yeah. Level 1 nukes, which means 18 nuke charges at the end.
Yeah, provided they don't underlevel any of their characters. I know that Purity's not going to do that. Purity's a pretty big fan of mages. Czar probably won't do that either. Neither of these players is going to get access to a life spell at all anytime soon.
Yep.
If Life 2 is in level 6, there's a remote chance that the Red Mage can learn it, and I think there's one slot in level 7 that might allow the runners to get that on a Red Wizard. But barring that, they are going to be lifeless for the rest of this game.
They'll just leave a lot less room for error in TOFR.
Mm-hmm. So I think we might have, it might be learnable. Red Wizard can learn the first and second spells of level 5 for white magic, so it's possible. A little bit of Crescent Lake grind going here.
Extra gold, get some decent experience.
The only reason this fight's worth anything is because of the plus factor. Like it's a very low XP set of enemies, but just the fact that there's so many of them makes it worth taking. On lower multipliers, it's really not a good fight to take. Houses are conveniently here, as are cabins and tents. And
take your pick. Where do you want to stay for the night?
It is pretty much the ideal Crescent Lake item shop. And we also have gold bracelets here, so...
But they're at a premium.
Mm-hmm. Very high premium.
Life 2 unlearnable.
Yep. Folks will not have access to Life 2 until Red Wizard. They can learn slots 2, 3, and 4. So Tail is going to be a pretty big premium for these guys.
Yep. Rudy's going to do a little bit more grinding.
Now, chat can recall what slot Life 2 was in. In that
slot
shop.
4.
It's purchasable for a Red Wizard after class up.
So yeah, if they want access to life, they're gonna have to find that tail.
Pretty darn big incentive to class change. Obviously, my advice is always grind your black belt if you're going to grind them long before you class change, because the difference between 4 magic defense per level versus 1 is pretty astronomical the later you get into the game. The difference between wiping and winning.
As some of us learned this morning.
Adelaide's asking in chat, is this game casual friendly? It is. It absolutely is. Like, you have to look, like, there's pickup games happening all the time, and they're going to be at varying degrees of difficulty. And for a new player, you can come in and say that you're new, and you can get a lot of people to start up a relatively tamer seed so you can get more of a feel for the game. But, in cases where the seeds are a little bit tougher, you certainly want to know what you're doing in the randomizer before you take that on. There's a huge learning curve. The learning curve is reasonable.
Question in chat. The 4th classes today were Black Belt and Thief.
Mm-hmm.
I missed what was picked up. Ruby was in B2 of Volcano.
Mm-hmm.
Are we sure this isn't the same seed we saw this morning?
Opal Bracelet is a far more welcome pickup than the Ruby, I would imagine. 99% of runners out there, I'm sure. Flame Armor is great if they get a class change. As of right now, it is useless. Once there's a class up, both the ninja can wear that, so it's worth hanging on to. Huh. You see a 1 HP kill on a Pede there?
I did not notice.
Those always feel good. Purity checking out how tough these paralisks are. The answer is nothing a nuke can't handle. No, Remiel, I didn't notice anything in the encounter table indicating that it's going to be somewhat easy to manipulate.
I have not seen anything yet. And that's one of those things I'm still learning as a runner, is how to really identify things in the encounter table.
Sure. Obviously, you want to see things at the very beginning so you know if you can power cycle. So if you have a particularly long run before you get into a fight or after your first fight, you can take advantage of that. Or you want to see where like patches of encounters show up on the overworld and in dungeons, so you can plan accordingly. So we also saw a pickup of the dragon armor. Now that's going to be utterly useless in this run. That's
knight.
That's knight only. And since I'm accustomed to running Thief Black Belt and 2 mages, I'm commonly running into that issue of finding adamants, Aegis Shield, dragon armor, and having absolutely no use for them whatsoever. But if you have a knight, they're the best armor you could hope for. It's basically half a ribbon. It's going to take care of, I think, at least 4 of your 8 elementals. Protect you against those. So in a pinch, it's a good substitute for a ribbon. Not a perfect one.
EXPs right now living up to their name, not taking much to kill them, although when you have level 1 nuke, everything tends to die quickly in the beginning.
They are as what Edge would like to call XP pinatas.
Fires have Stinger.
It's a relatively benign attack, I think.
Yeah.
And depending on how tough the Agamas are, the Red Dragon is in this seed, Fires might end up being one of the better grind options. I'm pretty sure Czar will probably grind his black belts. That's more his speed than Purity's. Purity might do it, but I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if Purity lets it dirt nap.
So Czar did find his ruby, so we will see if they choose to make the play to Earth Cave, or if they will choose to go check ice. It would be faster to probably go check ice.
I would think so.
Ice is incentivized in this.
Correct. And it's also a good auxiliary grind spot because of the eye. Now the problem they're going to have is they don't have warp at a very accessible level. So they can't make use of the warp trick and do a quick check to see if clearing it out is going to be worth their while. Tristol saying that he would have gone to ice to start with. I might take exception to that strat, but I'm welcome to hear why you... So the problem with me would be the warp spell not being available.
It's risk versus reward. I think you're guaranteed to get something in ice, but it could turn out to be a glass can, especially if the eye is not grindable.
Right now, the least useful thing you could get in ice, as the ruby has already been exposed, would probably be adamant. Since neither of these players can use that. Neither of them can equip Excalibur. So you're looking at, beyond that, you're looking at Ribbon or Masmune, or one of the progression items. So at this point in the game, it certainly would be a good bet.
It's like Czar took a hit something here. He's got 2 people sleeping. Both the Thief and the Black Mage are down.
Mm-hmm. Ice Shield, a good pickup to go along with the Flame Armor, provided we see a class up. That'll defend against 2 elements at once. Well, I don't think Czar is going to reset because his black belt's still alive and he still has his red mage alive. He knows this is going to be a pretty decent pickup. Nothing really that exciting so far.
Just a lot of change and a lot of cabin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, ribbon in the Agamara.
Now that's exciting.
Throw that on your black belt and let it begin.
Here we are, a moment of truth. How tough is the Agama? Ribbon right on time is right. We're looking at least, what, 250, 300? Okay, so we're probably looking somewhere in the range of 300 to 400 XP, or HP on those Agamas.
I haven't seen anything on its moveset yet, though.
No. And since the black belt is landing 3 of its 4 hits, means that the Agama's got somewhat of a little bit of evade. So the black belt's ability to one-shot that Agama, it might not be as soon as they would like it to be. They might have to take it all the way to 21, or a little bit beyond that. Right, Max pointing out over 320 HP. It's certainly going to be tougher to get an early one-shot from the black belt. So the grind will take a little bit longer than they probably like. But as Tristel pointed out, the absorb can't be super high.
Yep.
Now what I'm wondering is is Purity going to attempt to grind just the black belt, or is he taking the whole party to, say, 18 or so?
It's like Czar is going to go out.
Mm-hmm.
Refresh spell slots and go right back in.
There we are. As expected, Czar is using the opportunity with those 2 dead characters to make this a grind. I think the fact that Purity's making no attempts to heal the Black Mage or the Thief, I don't think that it's too crazy to assume he's looking to get the Black Belt's levels up, first and foremost.
Just letting them go down their own pace instead of running on the lava outside.
I like the strategy. When you don't quite have enough firepower in just your Black Belt, and you don't have a good AoE item, and the Agamas have a little bit higher HP, this is probably the best way, because you'll naturally get there. You'll see your characters die off at a decent enough pace to make it easier for your Black Belt to reap the benefits, and not get your grind tragically slowed down to a halt, or end up wiping.
Oh, looks like he's going to start killing off his party.
There we go. Let the games begin. Yeah, he's going all in on just the black belt here, so confident two-shotting it is going to be sufficient.
Using the Bane.
It's not a bad
Black Mage.
Not a bad strat. I have done this myself. And Quake. And let the chips fall where they may with these characters. Slow is not a thing you want to see the black belt get hit with. Now with the ribbon equipped, I don't believe it's an issue. If this was slow too, it would be a different story. Yes, rich anvils, the thief and the black belt are required. The black mage was optional. Czar started with the party he has, Purity started with a white mage, and when he saw level 1 nuke, he reset and repartied up with a black belt, or a black mage instead.
Alright, it just turned out to be changed in that upper chest.
Mm-hmm. We're in for the most exciting part of the game. That's the solo black belt grind.
Looks like both sides will be taking advantage of these just high HP Agamas, nothing else really too threatening right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't even necessarily call them high HP. It's not that far from their vanilla HP.
So at our 30-minute point, the only items that have been found so far is the TNT, which is in Temple of Fiends, the Ruby, which was in the second floor of Volcano, and that's really about it.
We have a ribbon.
Yep, ribbon, which was in the Agama chests.
In the very room they are in now. Looks like we're pretty well on pace here. They both Purity and Czar are relatively evened out. I think Czar may have a very slight edge in that his red mage is getting some levels alongside his black belt. And he's still, I think, a level ahead of Purity.
And he may be ahead just by the nature of his Thief and Black Mage went down a lot earlier than Purity's did.
For sure.
I guess the next question is, how far will they go? Will they take this to 32, or will they go all the way to the somewhat standard 42, in which everything just starts running from you?
I would actually say that 32 would be the standard here, not 42, on a round 3 seed. I'm different. I go to 42 because it's a difference maker for me. I tend to get through the choppier Temple of Fiends with that 42, whereas people who roll a 32 black belt tend to run into more issues, and they require their auxiliary party members to carry a lot more weight. But I think both of them will probably go to 32, or maybe a few levels beyond that. But I don't think either will go to 42. Yep, Tristal pointing out there was some synchronized leveling, level 21 for both at the same time. It's obviously going to slow down for Czar just a little bit because the XP is getting split in half. But that red mage is not long for this world. One hit, it's gone. So Curbs, the answer to your question is you're probably in for another 6 to 8 minutes of this. Because we're going to be looking for them to get to level 32 or closer to 42. Like somewhere in the range of like 38 to 40. And once it gets going, it doesn't take too long. It's rhythmic. No, it's not going to take an hour, Curbs. Don't worry. No. It'd be the worst spectator sport ever if you had to watch that. No. It's not going to take nearly that long.
All we did for an hour of a 2.5 hour run was grind Agamas.
Yep. Yeah, the multipliers for this round are high enough. So whatever the vanilla XP would be for an Agama, right now it's worth 4 times that, plus an additional 400. And this is for the tournament. This is what we've been playing for probably the last few months. There is a new edition of the Randomizer out, which you won't see during the tournament because we're going to play the whole thing with 1.4.4. But Entroper, who developed the Randomizer, recently released the 1.4.9, which has actually scaled back the XP in gold and the cost of items and the scaling for leveling. So we have a lot less overlap or overflow. Like say when you fight 4 gas dragons, the XP doesn't flow over back around to like 1,000. You get what it's worth.
Because in old NES games, that was a problem where you could actually reset your number counters.
Mm-hmm. And Varus, I wouldn't say you missed anything crazy. We had a ribbon picked up in this room. Both of them are grinding Agamas, as you can see. No progression items beyond the ruby, which is disputably a progression item, and might not end up being one at all. And no crazy wipes.
Jesus, it is.
No need to go to Marsh. Sho Fukamachi showing off his butter emoticon. I don't think we'll be in for much more of this for too much longer.
Nope. Purity hit level 29 just now.
And I am predicting he will go to 32 and stop. Most racers do. Enjoy your dinner, Entrepreneur. And thanks again for making this.
Thank you for the amazing generator, Entrepreneur. We love it.
This version and the most recent one.
So it looks like they are both at the point where they are one-shotting these Agamas.
Oh, absolutely. The level gains are not random. There is a scale that they generally it's somewhere between 20 and 30,000 XP as you go up. That number just scales level by level. If Fighter is a great option if you can find the gear and you have good magic support. Fighter's fantastic at taking damage, whereas a black belt, the only thing it can do is sponge off hit points. So Purity hits 32, takes another fight. Now I'm intrigued. How far is he going to take this? Going. Okay, again, the force classes were Black Belt and Thief.
My next question will be is, if he's going to power grind this Black Belt, will he leave the Thief fleet?
I believe Purity will probably leave the Thief dead. I can't imagine why he'd bring it back. I don't believe he's particularly fond of the Thief. And Musical Dork making a very good point that a black belt can take a spell to the face better than a fighter. And that's true, and the reason is because of magic defense gain of 4 per level that you're getting with a grinded black belt.
Right. Czar hit 32 and said he'd had enough.
Czar is noped out of the Dragon.
He'll go check Red Dragon, then probably head down to carry.
I guess it's left to be seen if he will use the opportunity to grind the Red Dragon if it's grindable to go any higher than 32, but my guess is he won't. However, I was wrong about Purity. Files concurring with the majority of randomizer players that round 3 is the last level you'd be willing to take it to 32 instead of 42. Czar running into the unrunnable Cerberus Wiz Ogre party. This is an unrunnable that a lot of casual players are not aware is an unrunnable fight.
definitely looking like Purity will take this all the way to 42, and then he will likely move on towards Carry.
I will make a second guess here and say that Purity will probably stop short of 42 itself and look to pick those other levels up. I think other than myself, I don't see many other players going all the way to 32 or to 42 off of a grind. Most leave a little bit early.
And Czar is heading down to Carry.
Well, we're about to find out just how tough Carry really is. If you can get away from this Whiz Ogre, Green Ogre.
No run.
Yep. So this is definitely a disadvantage to having a solo black belt, is that running luck for a black belt, even at level 32 or higher, is not fantastic.
Say hi, Carry, bye, Carry.
It is done.
That is the first orb lit at 41 minutes.
Dreamer's Coffee, the reason for 32 and 42 is additional hits. So what you're going to see happen is at level 32, your black belt goes from 6 hits to 8 hits, and while that doesn't sound like a whole lot, it's a substantial jump in the amount of damage you can do and the number of crits you can land. At level 42, that jumps to 10, and you're pretty much one-shotting almost everything in the game, short of maybe 3 of the fiends, and even those can go down to one shot sometimes. If you fast up a 42 black belt and land a few tempers on him, and Chaos has anything approaching reasonable HP, you can hypothetically one-shot Chaos. Purity has taken care of the fire orb and is proceeding to Lord knows where.
So Czar headed back into Volcano. I wonder what he's looking for.
Do not know. Oh,
and he resets out.
He didn't check that chest. And honestly, I didn't catch that he didn't see it. Right, Zelfin, you do absolutely get more consistent crits from a higher hit count, because each one's going to roll for, it's going to roll that 0 to, I think, 255, and if it lands 0, it's going to be a crit.
Now the question will be, where will Czar go? The easy play is probably to Ice, but they do have a Ruby which would point them towards Earth.
I don't think either of them is as non-traditional as to go somewhere like Marsh Cave or Deals without an incentive. So I think I'd probably put my money on the Ice Cave.
So Purity's picking up his entire party, including the thief.
Oh, what do you know? Every time I try to be right about Purity...
Breaking the mold today.
I guess so. Hope I don't play the game as badly as I play Predict.
Hey, you beat me earlier.
It was a tough race. And yes, Files is one of the more non-traditional players when it comes to routing. Files does love ordeals. It's an interesting gamble, too. You've got 9 chests there, I think, if my count's correct. And if you've got a warp spell, you can always go back if you pick the wrong pillar. So it can pay off if you're right. In the same way that going to Earth early, grabbing the first floor can pay off if you duck in there real quick.
Files, we are forever proud of you for winning one game versus Edgeworth.
And now I have the dubious distinction of having to take on Edge. And interestingly enough, the loser of the match between myself and Edgeworth will play the winner of this game today. Which means, in all likelihood, I will be playing the winner of it today.
Hey, you could see a Kraken too.
Mm-hmm.
Purity's gonna make the run over to Ice Cave. He will find his incentivized chest and whatever else is lurking there.
Yep. Papa
Opals
Foe's
for
dog.
sale at max price.
I think Papa Foy's dog is Joey, and yes, you did. I think you beat everybody except for Tristal and Lem the cat. You beat me by, I think, 20 minutes or so.
According to files, he only beat Edgeworth when he's sick and something was in ordeals.
I remember the match. Yes. He was recovering from sickness, but I don't think Edge is going to use that excuse to explain why he didn't win that. Mm-hmm. Yep, Czar did go out of his way to buy caps. That was very early. And we're not going to see a deviation in routing. We're going to see both of them going after that incentive chest.
Oh, Ocho's with crack.
Ocho.
With only one ribbon, that is a bit of a threat right now.
Okay, so adversary, this is the only game I have ever speedrun, and I started doing this in early September, so I don't think I'd necessarily call myself a speedrunner in the same vein that I would call the vast majority of people playing this game speedrunners. I just know this. I know the vanilla version of this game pretty well. Yeah, randomizers are not speedruns in the traditional sense.
Useless Aegis Shield, and the first chest Purity looks in. Purity did pick up the warp charge, so he will do it. And there's an original floater.
Bingo. Rick Ouch at A&W, we got a vanilla floater.
So that means that ruby was completely worthless.
Mm-hmm. As is the case about 97-98% of seeds. It's incredibly rare that you need the ruby. There's only, I think my math is correct, you've got 4 in the Titan's Tunnel, you've got 5 in the top part of floor 4 of Earth, and I think 3 in the bottom part, so that's a total of 12 chests in the entire southern hemisphere that would require a ruby to get to. So doing some crazy math on that, 12 versus all the other chests it could possibly be in the southern hemisphere, it's not likely you're ever going to need that ruby. But we have seen it a few times. Purity running up against that Frost Giant, Frost Wolf unrunnable.
I did not know that was unrunnable till about 2 days ago.
Oh yeah. It's a hard lesson to learn if you keep trying to run from it and it doesn't let you.
So I do not believe Czar has warp. He does not. So he will have to make the long run back around to get his floater. He will have to face with the eye.
Mm-hmm. And I'm interested to see if he's going to grind the eye at all for his other characters. Maybe make the Black Mage a little less squishy or get some more charges. Files, he didn't get Warp early because Warp wasn't an early spell. It was level 6, I believe.
Ribbon and Ice.
Ribbon. That's 2 of 3. Yes, he power leveled to 32. Purity, I think, went to, was it 38, 40? I didn't catch. Okay, let's see if there's anything else in this ice hole. It's always a smart bet when you see a frost giant to assume it's an unrunnable. You're an ice hole. I've been called worse.
And the memes began. And slab in ice!
There it is! Ladies and gentlemen, we are one item away from
technical go mode.
Technical go mode. I would say Purity with 2 ribbons and a grinded up black belt is about as close to go mode as you're going to get once he gets crowned. So it's a good thing they both went there, otherwise the one who didn't would be far, far behind the one who did. The drum board is explaining some of the finer nuances of how encounter tables work and how the charts work and what's unrunnable and what's not. So it's a group. So like the Frost Giants, Frost Wolves unrunnable is a group, and it can contain 0 Frost Wolves and still be the same fight that is still unrunnable, and you don't know it until you try to run and aren't able to 3 or 4 times. I believe you see something like that with the... trying to think of the fight where that's also applicable. Alright, gonna take a look at the eye here while it takes a look at us.
And the eye dies.
It takes 352 damage is almost always going to be the eye. So it doesn't tell us anything about its physical limitations. 65.
Bottle is running out of places where it could be hiding. Vanilla bottle, maybe?
Yeah. Have we seen the caravan?
We have not. I do not believe either of them have checked caravan yet.
Then that's one of the last 2 places it could be. Does it make sense to run him without a ribbon at 42? No. If you have a ribbon, and he's going to be your primary damage dealer, because, I mean, honestly, why would he not be at 42? You should certainly still equip a ribbon, because there's a lot of things that can bust through magic defense.
Nope.
But in a pinch, oh yeah, for sure. If it's if you have 1 ribbon, a grinded up black belt, and a mage capable of casting Life 2, you put the ribbon on the Life 2 character. Because most of the time you can count on the black belt to make it through, but you don't want your Life 2 caster to be dead, because it would be very painful to be wrong on, say, the water floor of Temple of Fiends. I think we are going to see...
Well, Purity must have had to reset or something.
Mm-hmm. We'll check out the Zardia Islands.
Man's so important, he has a set of islands named after him.
There he goes.
Very rich islands.
Whole bunch of nothing. And nothing still. One more chance for the islands to impress Purity and the rest of the people watching. Crown would be huge here.
Nope.
Nothing doing. Gonna have to earn it, Purity.
Which means Crown can be pretty much anywhere right now, or deals.
Well, where I would go next, aside from looking for the bottle, which is what he's clearly doing...
Bottle's gonna be an on-rack.
On-rack bottle. What a pain in the butt. I would definitely go to Titan's Tunnel and Sarda's Cave to get the rod. Because even if it's not something you want to forget, it's like forgetting the cube and making it all the way up to the 3rd floor of Mirage. There's a player who I won't call out by name who did that recently. It's the equivalent of missing a chest. I've certainly done the cube thing before, where I didn't go to Waterfall before I tried to climb Mirage.
No bottle in on-rack. I wonder where it was.
I don't know what item shop they didn't check.
Did they check Provoca?
I wonder. I was going to say it was either Provoca or Elfland that they didn't check the item shop for. So
they checked Elfland item shop, I think. Sukaya in chat says they did not check Provoca. That's got to be where it is.
Okay, I'll take your word for it, Sophia. I think Crescent Lake item shop we did check. They had everything there. They had I remember this. They had a house, a tent,
and a cabin.
A heal potion, and I think a pure potion.
Question is, will they remember that they haven't checked? Well, they probably remember at this point because they've checked everywhere else.
There's only, I think, there's only like 6 item shops in the game, so the most it's going to take you to figure it out, it's going to be like 3 or 4 minutes. It's just not time you want to waste.
While Purity's here, he's going to do his run through the waterfall cave and go visit the robot.
He's got the good fortune of actually having a warp spell, so he's not going to have to walk it out like a schmuck.
But his Black Mage is down.
That is problematic. I think without life spell, I might reset here, just because the long walk is going to take you a whole lot of time that you don't need
and
to
we
take.
can see our friend the Gasty, who has a stinger.
I guess Purity with the black belt isn't all that concerned about walking back out, but I look at it from a time standpoint. That's like an extra, probably 2.5 minutes you don't need to waste. Felfin pointing out the Black Mage was down outside. I'm missing all sorts of things. I apologize. As commentator, I really should be catching more of these little details, but I did not notice that. One of my favorite places to pick up XP here is this forced encounter inside the cube room. Usually these whiz mummies are worth quite a bit. You get them in a pack.
Fortunately, they all took the nuke like a champ.
They did. I don't remember seeing an out-of-bounds bat, do you?
I do not.
I don't think Purity, for some reason, is going to... Never mind.
Purity, do this to us.
Brain fart. He doesn't have a Black Mage.
Purity does not check for out-of-bounds ban. Run unvalidated.
Yep. Yeah, Tristal, I guess you pointed out that the Black Mage was dead outside of the waterfall, and he saved like that. So, being the only bearer of the warp spell, Purity is going to have to walk it out like Schmuck, like he was saying. Not a whole lot can scare him with this black belt, though.
Nope.
Yeah, Papa pointing out that this is, in fact, where the gas dragons are in the vanilla version, besides Temple visited. Absolutely correct. I think here in the waterfall, I believe you can only encounter one, whereas in Temple of Fiends, you can run into a whole 4 of them. And that's always a welcome sight when you're trying to preserve your resources as you make your way down.
As we approach our hour point, our runners are only awaiting really one item to solidify go mode. The floater was at its vanilla location in Ice Cave, the slab was in the basement of Ice Cave, TNT was in Temple of Fiends, and the now meaningless ruby was in the second floor of Volcano. There were 2 ribbons have been found so far. One was in the Agama grind room in the Volcano, and the second ribbon was in the basement of Ice.
And Drumboard is making a good point. We're going to have lots of XP on this Black Mage, and if the Black Mage is going to come up with a fast charge or temper charges, or if you want survivability against a nuke charge, that's going to be problematic, because Black Mages have the worst HP progression of all characters, even the Thief. And if you need your Black Belt to do damage against a high evasion enemy, or high absorb enemy, certainly having that fast cast on him before dying is pretty important. Alright.
See what the Titan was hiding? Sunsword.
That's a good pickup for the Red Mage. Best
but
weapon.
He resets and we'll leave it in the chest.
That's crazy. I guess he's not going to be using the attack prowess of the Red Mage in lieu of nuke. So I'd probably still keep it just as a backup strat. His Sunsword is the best sword the Red Mage can wield, other than the Mesme. Drum pointing out a good strat. The Sunsword is great for pot-shotting things to see how many times you've got a bonk. It's a good litmus test for evasion, hit points, absorb, that sort of thing. So,
our favorite archaeologist shouts, "A slab!"
Purity will not suffer the curse because he has returned the slab. Now he's going to see if this is where the bottle was, and it's not.
It was in Elfland. I thought they checked Elfland.
What do you know? Well, at least it was one of the 2 shops I thought it could have been in.
Yep.
And now the question's going to be, where will the crown be? The sadistic place to say would be Marsh Cave, of course. But I think it would actually be worse to be at the very top of the Mirage Tower. Or not, or the Sky Cave. Because that's a whole lot of chest checking, and I'm going to presume both of these folks are going to go to Sea Shrine before they go to Mirage. And that's a whole lot of chest checking.
Purity almost makes it down to Lufenia, or whatever the town's called.
Lefane, I don't know.
Yeah.
Czar's letting the Titan starve.
Titan just wants to eat too, you know.
So Czar's going Earth Cave. Interesting.
And he's not gonna... Oh, he is gonna check some chests.
Well, Czar's definitely going to check these top floor chests. I don't know if he's going to make his dive all the way down to the bottom of Earth Cave right now. This is not the most...
is stunned.
Wow. This is not the most efficient place to chest check, since the density of chests on the floors is not high. There's a lot of walking, a lot of encounters you're going to run into in between. So this is either a gamble or he's going to bounce after the first floor. Can't imagine why he'd think he was behind at this point. It's an hour and 4 in.
Looks like Purity is going to head into Mirage.
Alright. So take that, Sea Shrine, you get to wait. Pro Ring, that's a good pickup.
But did he get it? It looked like he reset out of it.
Apparently he did. I guess since he's got the cash, he doesn't have to worry about it. Nope, still no life spell for you, sir. Or heal 3. If you want to get those spells, you're Gonna have to class change, and you're only going to be able to get the one in slot 2. Sorry, pal. Finally grabbing warp.
He will translate his slap.
There we are. Files pointing out some mermaid anatomy here and fashion decisions. No, mermaids typically do not have skirts that you can look up. But you'd have to imagine if they did have skirts, they'd probably be the flowy kind.
And as always, Files with the generous additions to our comment. We love you, File.
And Czar checking his namesake islands, soon to find out that they are letting him down. Well, I didn't incept that idea into my head. That you, Files. I spent exactly as much time thinking about it as it took me to say that sentence.
Get an early visit by our friend the Blue Dragon.
Yep. Blue Dragon just wandering off his 3rd floor perch for a little bit. And there's the disappointment from Czar. Hey, we got another cap. Catching up to Czar.
Tail and Mirage.
That's huge. We have access to a life spell now. Sadly, no wear sword. Yeah, Go Mode Crown, as Files has pointed out, it's the scariest Go Mode item because you can't eliminate any possibilities for where it is except for the locked chests, of which I think there are 24, I think, in the game.
I do not know the exact number.
It's somewhere in that neighborhood. One in the northern hemisphere is in the Sea Shrine. You've got 6 in Canaria, you've got 4 in Elfland, you've got 3 in Astos' castle, you've got 3 in the dwarf 8 in the dwarf cave,
3 in Temple of Fiends,
and 3 in Temple of Fiends. So I believe that comes out to 24. Versus the slab, which the only place eliminated with the slab is the Mirage Tower and Sky Castle. However, that's, I believe, somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 chests. Floater can only be in the southern hemisphere. So you can route accordingly based on the statistics of which items can be where. And yeah, Crown is the absolute worst thing to have last to find.
Bit of trivia for you, chat. Where else do you need the crown or the key from?
Mm-hmm.
Adamant found that'll sit in the inventory.
That's pretty useful. Floater can be in ordeals. That is true. You are absolutely correct about that. So, the only exception in the northern continent where the floater can be is ordeal. So, the floater can't be anywhere that is only airship accessible. Let's amend that statement.
And Chitin wins the cookie of this run, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do need the key to open the chests after Phantom.
Yep.
In POFR.
Once you play your pretty little song on the lute, you go downstairs, you open the next. That's when you learn, if you've forgotten the crown quest, that you cannot unlock a door with a crown.
Brocape is in the floating castle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hello, Mr. I. The eye that thought he wanted to be a beholder when he grew up. Purity is just straight up skipping those chests.
He's gonna come back down there if he has to. This is a quicker pickup. You had a group of 4, another group of 4, and a group of 6 on this floor. And if the crown is up here, you don't have to check those other ones in what's called the asterisk room, or the star room.
We see Czar getting his check of chests down in Mirage. Purity is still looking for his... Cool. Now begin checking his chests down in the asterisk room. Say hello to the eye one more time as Czar begins fighting the blue dragon. Again, Fowls with the excellent additional commentary in the chat.
Well, whether Purity wanted to grind the eye or not, looks like he is.
And so far, nothing of much interest here.
Czar getting his reward, the adamant. The only good that's going to do is if you need another spot rearranged in your inventory. And odds are at this point, you don't.
So far, it's been much in the asterisk room.
Nope.
Cloth. You desire any cloth, there's some right there for you.
Yep. No need to drive all the way up to Michael's to grab some cloth. Got some right here for you.
Did not notice if Czar picked up his tail.
He did.
He did?
Yeah, unless I'm mistaken, I'm pretty sure he did. Well, El Busto for Purity here, but it's also going to be El Busto for Czar. It's amazing that they're still routing the same at this point.
Alright. So we have the maze floor left, and then the Bridge of Destiny, so it's time to start those Praise Warmechs if you want to see some Warmech.
There's the Vorpal, for all you fans of it. The all-important question is Purity going to go down and left or down and right?
Looks like he's going down and right.
Man after my own heart. I'm a right-down guy myself.
I
like to
prefer
get
to
right
go
down
up
to
and
business.
left. Up and left.
Up and left, huh? No one's perfect. If I was Warmech, I would avoid weed as well. Oh, look at that. This looks like a 2-encounter bridge for Purity.
Yep, and he will go into Tiamat, and we'll see what Tiamat's holding.
My guess is the second orb for Purity, and probably very little else. Bifu, the answer to that question is there's chest density here. There's a lot more chests here to check. So I would say that if I had to choose between here and Sea Shrine, I would go here first. Whereas if I had 2 items left, I'd probably go to Sea Shrine first.
I'd also say there's the risk of Sea Shrine of choosing a direction.
I always go Krakenside first, because it's
Purity.
the side you have to complete.
Purity's Thief is taken down by a dinosaur.
And I don't think he cares. Purity, interestingly enough, Purity is the person who introduced me to the Krakenside first strat for the Sea Shrine. As I am newer to this game than anybody else in the tournament at this point. And Purity is not an old hat like Czar or some of the other folks in this, but Purity's relatively new.
Purity's gonna pick up his Oxyale from the ferry. He will warp. Thought about warping out, but decides just to run out.
It was a good idea.
Quick flyby of Ordeals.
Fly by the Files Castle.
And looks like Purity will go for his class change.
Yep. Trade in the headband for some... Uh-oh.
Okay.
That was a scary moment. As I was saying, he's going to trade in his headband for a sweet sleeveless shirt and a sweet Dolph Lundgren haircut.
You'll get to see the amazing man that is Pajama Man.
Yep. Pajama Jim the Ninja.
Do not know if Purity has yet rendered a verdict this run on save or kill the Tyro. I know he was killing them beforehand.
He was practice killing them before he even formed his party. Yes, I'm definitely Team Pajama, as I am a thief advocate.
Down goes Black Wizard to Crack.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, everybody, Crack kills.
Crack does kill. Sometimes we gotta do a little public service announcements for everybody out there. Those Gurpedes are pretty good XP founts if you can kill them quickly, and with Black Belt you can. I don't think that's on Purity's agenda, though.
Purity will check Black, level 7 Black, which is Lit Nice, and Cure 3 and Fear, which will be the spell he picks up for his Red Mage.
Cure 3, not a bad pickup. Probably not going to get to use that more than once or twice. We're going to have one more shot at Warmac Hype here, so...
Praise RNG, this is in chat.
Yep.
Thorhammer in the first floor of Water Palace.
Yep.
Sea Shrine, I'm sorry.
The old sea cave.
Thought I was playing Zelda for a second.
The Water Temple, yeah. I don't know which one is worse, the Sea Shrine or the Water Temple in Zelda. The wet hole. Yeah, I guess that's something else you could probably call this place.
Czar will begin his fight against TM.
Yeah, very, very quickly we're having people say, yes, it's the Water Temple. Water Temple is far worse.
So there was about a 5-minute difference between Purity finishing off Tiamat to Czar.
Mm-hmm. So will we see a routing deviation? I doubt it, because the next most logical place for Czar to go would be the Sea Shrine. I mean, obviously, after he classes up. Yeah, these two are running identical.
And there's your Weresword for you.
Yep. It's a shame they didn't pick that up. White Shrink's a fantastic pickup.
Purity, remembering that you still cannot run from ghosts.
Everybody's favorite fight. Second only to the Waters.
They hit really hard.
Yep. We haven't seen too many of the unrunnables in this. Like I've had the great fortune of running into about 3 or 4 of the Wiz Sea Hag, Red Sea Hag unrunnables in a row. Busting out some hell too.
Here's another unrunnable.
There I go. Does that count as a commentator curse?
Yes.
Okay. Just checking.
But it looks like most of them are going to run away, so...
Yeah. As is the case when you have a black belt of that high level. Oh, Czar teasing the Marsh Cave dive.
Czar, why you do this? Why you do this?
That would have been a fun deviation to watch. And I think actually Czar did go to floor 1 of Earth, and I don't think Purity did, so...
Purity has not.
The only deviation I remember seeing between the two. These Waters got some beef on them.
Oh, Czar's going back into Earth.
There he goes. I am actually very surprised to see this. Czar might be making an assumption that he's behind, because this is not the statistical play. It might be the right one, though. Allie, the crown can be anywhere that isn't behind a locked door. So it can be here in the Sea Shrine, it could be in Earth Cave, it can be in the Marsh Cave, or Ordeals, of all the places that are remaining. Since we have cleared Volcano, and we have cleared Air.
And we have cleared Ice.
Mm-hmm. And Ice has been cleared too, yeah.
So if Czar were to find the crown in here, that would give him the lead. Because he would be able to just blaze through water.
And Drum asking a troll question that I'm not going to answer. And he is missing the 6... he's missing the 8 in the Dwarf Cave. He's also missing the 3 in the Temple... Oh, somebody already beat me to the punch on the Temple of Fiends. It's only lazy dwarves when it's the TNT. Hey, Mazamian pickup. I wouldn't consider it necessarily huge because the thief can definitely make use of it, but the big value here for having the thief as a ninja is level 1 nuke, and he's going to have to grind out at least 5 or 6 levels or so to get multiple casts of that.
So, as a temporary, it's not bad, but...
Not at all. No, I'll never throw away the Mazamian. That's ridiculous. No Folsom, we still do not have the crown. That is the one thing they're looking for before go mode.
Still missing a crown, and there's still another ribbon hiding out there.
Yes, there is. My guess is we'll find the ribbon before the crown.
And we have Orb 3 for Purity.
Orb 3. I don't think Czar's going to be that far behind as far as count. He's got to go to the fun chest here. I actually use warp after checking this chest to go back to the beginning of the... Oh, boy. I don't think that was intentional. Czar hitting a trap tile with unrunnable earth. There's the third ribbon. And at least for one of the runners, I was right about getting those before the crown.
Yep.
Now the question is, are we going to see the crown in the top of the shrine? Are we going to see it in the Earth Cave? Or are both of them going to crap out and have to go to Marsh or Ordeals?
Here's hoping for ordeals. Because I'm sadistic. Nope, there it is.
Ah, Czar gets it. He will miss out on the third ribbon, but that's hardly an issue. Like I said, it wasn't a statistically correct decision, but for this seed, it was the right one. Drum, the Mesmian was on the floor before this in Earth.
So a very lucrative Earth.
Yep. And now Purity's going to waste some more time checking these 4 or 5 chests here. And get into some unrunnables along the way. I wouldn't say it's Drum. I wouldn't say the lead is that mighty. It's a lead, to be certain. It's a lead. But if Purity goes directly to Earth Cave after this instead of Marsh or Ordeals, Purity's not going to be that far behind. He even has a pretty good chance of catching up.
He grown longer than Czar did.
He's got a tougher black belt.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm. Purity only has the Earth Cave left as far as the orbs go. Earth is the best logical place to go next. And like predicted, Purity running into even more unrunning.
Purity's still going through Sea Shrine, and there he goes exiting out.
Pretty soon we're going to see whether he makes the statistically better choice and going, or if he decides to gamble and go to Marsh or Ordeal. Purity did abandon the third ribbon.
Looks like he will go to Earth.
I wouldn't say Czar having the Bonk Glove is a 1-2 turn advantage over Purity, because Purity is a higher level black belt and will probably hit 42 if he hasn't already by the time that means something. Czar picking up the third orb. So Czar is ahead by a crown, at least until Purity picks one up himself. all the assumptions that I've made about Purity thus far have been wrong, but I'm going to make more and say that once he grabs that crown, he's done. He's going to go mode the rest of the game and jump into Temple of Fiends as quickly as possible. The files I wouldn't necessarily call come from behind. The lead's been rocking back and forth a bit, and the lead was really never that substantial for Purity anyway. It was always a matter of maybe a few unrunnable fights difference or something. At most, I think you were looking at a 4-minute difference in time, for maybe 5 tops. Yep, Jerome, you're correct. This is going to come down to RN Jesus blessing either Purity or Czar in the Temple of Fiends.
Yeah, here I am praying for a Cure 4 Max Evade Chaos. Because I like Chaos. I like him. Especially in seeds I'm not running.
Well, we are, as announcers, we certainly don't want to choose a favorite in a race and root for one over the other one. I will go one further and not root for them to run their heads against a wall either. You're free to do so.
Gives the Maz Moon to the Red Mage.
Mm-hmm. Red Mage might be capable of getting a few more hits. I don't know what the level differential looks like right now, so I couldn't tell you. Actually, I'm kind of amazed that we still have werewolves ambushing Purity with a black belt at that level.
Czar getting an unrunnable Sahag fight.
Mm-hmm. And the number of these he runs into will dictate, where this all hashes out once Purity gets the crown and goes down to Kill Lich. I think we're going to have a pretty neck and neck race. There's your Bonk Glove. And another ambush from the wolves, from the Rurus. Wow, Czar doesn't even bother checking the freebie chests.
He gets another unrunnable. Those could start adding up.
But he gets initiative in this fight, so it'll go a little quicker. Yeah, Czar's pretty serious about getting to the Temple of Fiends ASAP. Can't say that I blame him. With a 3rd ribbon and being in go mode, being at like an hour 34 without being in Temple of Fiends, I don't blame him. Yeah, Czar did get the 3rd ribbon. I'm sorry, yeah, Purity got it, but he didn't grab it. And now Purity is in go mode. So the question is he just going to scoot toward Lich, or is he going to bother checking anything else?
What else would he be looking for at this point?
There's not a damn thing I can think of, to be honest with you. But I don't know, I've seen players do weirder things. I think if it's me on a round 3 seed and I've got a black belt grinded up that high and I've got 1 ribbon, and especially if I've got a bonk glove, I'm in go mode. And just for posterity's sake, I might check the vampire chest. I might check the 2 in the sea shrine on the way down. The other 3 in that other room. And maybe the validation chests in Phantom Room. But I'm not going to go out of my way for anything.
Yeah.
And it looks like Purity's not either.
Just gotta dodge those bats.
Mm-hmm. Czar, I believe, is going to be picking up the...
key.
That's the word I'm looking for. Figure Purity is a fiend and a crown quest away from catching up to Czar. I think Czar is going to pick up Nuke for his ninja here, or if he hasn't already, he definitely should. There we go.
Purity not getting the friendly end of this encounter table.
Nope. That's for sure.
Czar will head in to start his run into TOFR.
Here we are. Ladies and gents, the beginning of the end for Czar. First fight he gets, 2 unrunnable worms. And says
he will proceed to reset.
Immediate nope. I'll switch audio over to Czar.
Oh, surprise! Astos was evil the whole time.
Did you know?
This will all come down to who has better RNG in TOFR.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if Czar power cycled before going in or not.
Czar runs into some gas dragons.
Gas dragons are not good RNG if you ask me. Czar did not power cycle according to Sukiya. Purity grabbing.
He really wants that Cure 4.
He does
Unfortunately, not learnable.
Nope. And Zara's past Phantom. So it's looking pretty good for him right now. But anything can change that. Lead is not insurmountable. He's 1 wipe away from being tied or behind.
Purity will get his key, and I can't imagine he will waste much time heading up. Maybe a stop in Corneria to get some items. Nope, going straight there.
I don't know if chat's teasing me because I said I instead of remember. And here we go with Purity. Got a few floors to go to catch up.
Wow, 4 Gasties.
Not a
he
fun
got so
fight.
far right into that encounter.
Yep. All things considered, it's not a terrible circumstance if he got to go that far without a fight. As long as he can get through this quickly enough. The only other thing he needs those ice charges for is the water fights. Four Gasters, 4 WD Gasters. Our first look at Lich.
Poison touch.
Uh-oh. He has Poison Touch. Look out. 2 nukes may do the trick. Nope.
But and 1 punch from the black belt will say, "You're."
Weasel belt is best belt. And Purity fighting the Deadeye.
Ooh, Grey Worms have poison. That's something we didn't see earlier.
Nope. We could have seen that a few times in Volcano, and we did. Drumboard is calculating that Purity is a minute 30 behind, which doesn't mean anything.
This is too far. He could be in the lead without even knowing.
2:30 is almost the same story. Czar moving on to
Gamas.
Almost the carry fight. Purity better get a move on.
Pump up that black belt or that master with some fast.
Mm-hmm. Almost certain to one-shot it unless he's got high evade, which
it does not.
Kinda have. Not high enough. Yep. I mean, as a commentator, I will not deliberate on what's going to be the real boss in here, but I'm going to let chat make that decision. And I think we all pretty much know what the odds are for either of the possibilities.
Unrunnable waters.
Mm-hmm.
Which are never fun.
We'll see if the power cycle makes a difference for Purity once it gets down that far.
Waters have rub, but with 3 ribbons, he's pretty
Not
safe from that.
Well, 2 ribbons. He did reset out of the 3rd.
Czar did not get the 3rd ribbon?
He reset out of it.
Okay.
Didn't keep it. Purity is a boss away from being a floor and a half behind Czar. And it does do the thing that I was about to ask about, which is rear line his black belt so he doesn't lose his best chance of making it through here in one shot.
Ooh, Kraken with crack.
Kraken be Kraken. Kraken's gonna crack.
And he's got some evade, too.
Looky there. Well, nothing that a fast or a temper couldn't take care of if he needed to, but we will see if that's necessary. Party members he's got. Party members he's got. Gonna have to clear it with them because he can no longer revive anybody.
That should take down Kraken.
And it does. So this is where some of that aforementioned NG might come. Czar doing some creative menuing with those heals. And here we go. Oh, Purity getting hit with the 6 waters as well. His chance of catching up is slowly getting farther and farther away.
Czar rearranging his party, putting the black belt up front.
Can't say I blame him there.
I don't think he wants to lose that temper.
Nope. That fast, more importantly. Purity gets out of that fight. So far, Czar's gamble into Earth early is the difference maker.
Down goes Tiamat. Only Chaos remains.
And how efficient can Purity be from here out? Well, he's only second lining his black belt, so I guess he's got faith that that's good enough. Purity's only real chance here is a long, arduous fight for Czar on Chaos, which with fast and a power bonk, it's not likely.
Although if a zap gets through, that could be painful.
Nope, no zap on.
Or nuclear.
That's a dangerous one. Let's see how hard he smacks Chaos this time.
Still buffing.
Wow.
There's the punch. And GG Czar.
That's it. Czar advances.
Official SRL time of 1 hour 48 minutes.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. Somebody pointed out that Purity not reviving the black mage before Waterfall might have been a time difference, but I don't know if it would have been enough.
Czar took the risk and went Earth first. Purity will shortly be making his way down to Chaos to see what fun is in.
After this terrible encounter luck. Purity deserves a whole lot of credit here for coming from the very first round of the Garland bracket all the way here to face Czar.
Down goes the black mage.
You had to beat 4 people to get here.
Weed will punch Chaos to death.
And that's that. Purity finishing with an SRL time of 1:49.38. Exactly 1 minute and 38 seconds after Czar. You can't ask for a closer race. And we are joined both by Czar and Purity. GG to both of you.
Hey, GG, Czar.
GG, you are right there. I was dealt a plethora of difficulties on this seed.
And I was dealt the same and was right up behind you. On my way to the airship, I got the Fat Finger Power Cycle and Reset Together Crash FCEU bug and lost about as much time as I lost by. We would have been down to seconds if it weren't for that. Like frames, probably.
GG, it seemed like a close race.
It was absolutely close. I'm assuming you went a similar route to me, going Volcano first and getting a black belt grind going?
Would be correct, yes. It was kind of dealt an unexpected hand there. I got blazed by... What was that? Was it, something blazed me. I think it was Muck.
Yeah, Muck's had blazed.
Oozes. The Mucks are the oozes.
Was it in Earth Cave? Mucks are the ones in Volcano and Marsh.
So it must have been Mucks.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I got blazed by them in Volcano as well.
The only deviation, the biggest deviation, I should say, is Czar going to Earth earlier than Purity did.
Oh, that would have put him in go mode probably a good 30 minutes ahead of me.
Not that far at all. No, it flipped the lead, which wasn't a tremendous one to begin with, and as you saw with the end times here, it didn't create a tremendous lead either. But you were certainly close the whole way through. Up until nearly the end, your routing was almost identical. Czar made an early Earth Floor 1 dive before moving forward. Then he came back and got the crown. Yeah, but he didn't have to spend as much time in the Sea Shrine.
Yeah, the other time loss I had was buffering the saves as I'm cruising through the overworld. I grabbed my airship, saved at Cardia, but buffered a power cycle like a frame too early. It dropped an input, which I don't know. It's something I get on console too, so it doesn't really. I can't really blame the emulator coding too much for that type of an input lag. But man, I'm a little salty with how close it was that those little things cost me that time.
Yeah, it's a shame it's a best of one and not a best of three, because I'd love to see games out of the both. I think it was, like I said at the very beginning, a very even match. Like you've gotten very good very fast, being a relatively newer player just like me, and Czar is and has been great at this game for some time. So it was fun to watch and fun to commentate.
Yeah, I'm glad I was able to give him such a close race. I went into this expecting to get beat, but I was really hoping I could make this close.
Mm-hmm. You certainly did. It could have gone either way. Came down to a little bit of RNG and a little bit of routing. I wouldn't say either of you committed any terrible mistakes during this race. None of you made any strategic errors or wiped because of any fault of your own. You both played very well. Just came down to decisions.
Yep.
A little divergence would have changed everything. He was right behind me. Very forward to watching the VOD.
Yeah, had I gone anywhere but Earth last, I would have been probably right up in there, or had I not crashed my game!
There were definitely a few what-ifs in there that could have made the difference in time.
Absolutely, and I love it when they're that close that it would have, no matter what I did though, it would have been within a minute either way.
Yeah.
That's how close you were, man. That was a great race by both of us. I think we were bringing our A game tonight.
Yeah, it was one heck of a race to watch and commentate over, guys.
It was. And, should the inevitable happen and I lose to Edge, I'm going to have to play you now, Czar. So I really wasn't looking forward to the prospect of playing either of the two of you, because I think you're both superior players. But whether it's me or whether it's Edge that you end up facing in the next round, it's going to be, I think, good to watch for everybody who's watching it.
I'll be honest, I think at this point, any of the top 10 runners, and I would definitely rate myself and Czar in that group. Any of those guys on any given seed can win or lose, and it can be so close.
For sure, yeah. I think I'm probably the only person outside of the top 10 still in this tournament. And everybody else who's in it, I've got a tremendous amount of respect for, and I've learned a lot from. And I'm pretty sure you as well. I know Artea was a mentor of yours starting this out.
Yep.
And you hardly ask for a better one. He certainly knows his stuff. Edge is mine. That's the cool thing about this community. You have people who are more than willing to put in time and an effort to teach you, some of the nuances of how to run this game well. Not just to do the basics, but learning the ins and outs of what makes your time go from, say, 2 hours down to 150 down to 140.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, don't sell yourself short, Will. You've learned so much about this game, and you have gotten a lot faster. And I really look forward to seeing your race against Edgeworth. That's going to be interesting. It's going to be the two black belt masters going head to head, really. I really think that the races between you and Edge are going to come down to ability to improvise.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this straight up. Like, when it comes down to that, Edge has got it in spades. He's absolutely he is the master of pivoting. I've not seen anybody
hundreds of hours on us.
I've not seen any other player with the capacity to pivot when needed and improvise when needed better than Edge. And that's no disparagement to Tristal or Kaba, Artea, Brat, anybody else in the top. That's a thing that Edge just has over everybody else and has earned a lot of respect from me. It's one of the reasons I've looked to him as a mentor. So
yeah, you can pretty much throw Edge a curveball and he can give you a response pretty much immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But it should be a heck of a series between you and Edge. I'm looking forward to watching it.
I'm going to throw everything I've got. I'm going to throw the kitchen sink at it. Hope that I come out of this. I've been unbelievably lucky. I've rattled off 6 straight wins, 2 of them against one of the best players in this game, Miot, that could have gone either way. I can't make mistakes against Edge and have any chance of winning, but I'd certainly like to make this a lot more about your race, and get a sense of, especially from Czar, what's your plan going into round 4 seeds here, as far as how you're going to approach the next game.
For me, it's all going to be about routing and efficiency.
Mm-hmm. That's certainly one of those. Round 4, it's going to be very important to have that wired in.
And as we saw, you can really see anything happen in these round 4 seeds. They're very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you add in ordeals now being incentivized in round 4.
Exactly.
The mistake I might have made in this run was that I skipped warp in the magic shop. And I didn't have the gold at the time, and I really didn't want to grind for it, but it saved me time in Ice Cave, undoubtedly.
Mm-hmm. And at risk of throwing salt toward purity here, I think what the difference maker, and it would have actually, I think, been the difference in time between the two of you, is if you'd have been able to res your black mage before going into Waterfall, it would have made the difference in time, I think. But you can say that about a number.
Yeah, that also really screwed me, was getting hit by that crack, and not realize, that was definitely a serious error I made, is have your ribbon on the guy with XA. That screwed. I had no business having a ribbon on that red mage at any point during that run. Honestly, what I should have done, probably about 2/3 of the way through, was killed him off. He had nothing. He had nuke. That's it. He was a nuke bot.
Yeah, he wasn't a revival machine. He didn't have access to heal. Maybe you did have access to heal 3. I don't recall. I just saw you using heal 2.
I had heal 2. White magic was actually crazy strong, and the biggest mistake I made was re-rolling my party at the start with the black mage, giving up that exit, and the fact that Fade was level 3, Cure 4, Life 2, everything good for White Mage was low level and castable. Hilariously, Double Nuke did not make up the value I would have had by having the White Mage in that party.
But no one can really blame me for making that call. I think 9 out of the 10 of us, myself included, makes that decision too. It's too tempting.
I saw Nuke. I also thought that Exit was in the third slot. I misread the White Magic shop. I thought my Red Mage had Exit.
Had you known that, would you have kept the party as is?
No, I would have taken the Exit. Yeah, I would have taken the Exit. I was praying to God for warp as I was running through going, crap, I have no exit, please give me warp before Volcano.
Yeah. I kept saying I said once that if you don't get it in the first 6 levels, it's probably not going to be usable. And just managed to get it in level 6. So, yeah, and Tristal giving you props as well. Says he doesn't blame you that it's a force of habit to put the ribbon on the reviver. It's exactly what I do too.
Yeah, and that posed me.
It's little decisions add up to little amounts of time, and it's little things like that. Czar made a couple of small mistakes too. Like it could have gone either way. You both ran damn good races. It's none of the mistakes he made are worth beating yourselves up over at all. Like all things said, your fundamentals are pretty sound.
Yeah. I'm sure Czar would have found little things that picked him up 30 seconds, 45 seconds there too. Because when I look at where the items were and the seed that we drew, I was honestly expecting somewhere in mid 130s to see it got done from Czar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that a 138, 139 finish time would have been mathematically possible if your routing was a little bit more efficient for both of you, which you had no way of knowing in advance, and a little bit better luck on unrunnables.
Yeah.
These are both respectable times. Like 147, 148 in this, pretty damn good. When the crown is the last progression item to pick up, any time under 2 hours is respectable because that's a pain in the ass to go get. Not knowing if it's going to be in, Sky Cave, Mirage, Sea Shrine, Marsh, or Deals. You got to make decisions that you don't want to have to make. Pick between 1 of 5 dungeons, and just cross your fingers. And Czar came out ahead on that by 1 dungeon.
Yeah, that really is it, and that's sometimes just how it goes in this game.
Mm-hmm. Tough thing about Best of 1 series. I'm not a big fan of Best of 1. I understand for the sake of continuity and getting the tournament going the way it does, you have to have a Best of 1 in the loser's bracket. But
yeah, I honestly was not a fan of a straight elimination or a best of 3 for randomizer, but it is what it is. We've been testing different formats in different games, the Dragon Warrior tournament, the Zelda tournaments, and we will eventually find an ideal format for randomizer tournaments. I think everybody's getting closer with every tournament run.
Yeah, once we have a little bit better grasp on what's quote unquote fair in terms of assessing which player has beaten the other player, fondly enough. I think best of 3 is fair. Once you're down into your levels, you had to win 4 matches just to get this match with Czar, only to lose by a minute and a half, and that's your tournament because you had your first round of the winners bracket was not fun.
Yeah, best of 3 is definitely fair. My only issue with best of 3 with runs like this is it is long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. You're giving up time for progression through a tournament. You don't want the tournament to last 5 months, but at the same time, you don't want it to just be all RNG, all about who picks the right party one time or anything like that.
Yeah, like the race this morning, he black belt, I win.
That's it.
Yeah,
that happened.
And people can criticize my reliance on black belt if they want, but it's the only class that you can 100% of the time count on to be a factor throughout the entire game after you've grinded it up.
Black belt tier insurance policy, absolutely. Anyway, anybody got any more questions? Chat, commentators? Czar.
I do have a question for Czar. What's your mentality behind not checking the Temple of Fiends chest before fighting Garland?
Oh, yeah.
Something I'll do if I find an early nuke or Ice 3, possibly XXX, or something I know that I can take out Garland with right away. On the way back, I can decide if I want a tent here, tent there. Save a little bit of time checking it.
Okay, because I had personally never seen that done before.
I've only seen it once or twice before, but I didn't get the rationale behind it. I see things like that occasionally. I think, is this a time save? How is it a time save? And I just like to get inside the heads of people who do these things. If it's situational, why? So it's good insight.
It's a gamble. It's something that Carlin and Artie both like to do sometimes as well. Artie explained it to me with the hard math of the fact is 58% of runs will have your first progression item in the Marsh Cave. So you have a better than 50% chance of saving time by literally skipping every single chest on the way to Marsh Cave and just booking it there. You will also get other items, you'll get experience, you'll get gold for Elfland spells by just running to Marsh Cave, and that's what he likes to do. But I do think that favors lower experience and more spell shuffly seeds than the ones we're running in this tournament.
Right, and the flip side of that is you're foregoing all of the potential pickups that you're going to get in those chests, like vast sums of money, or early ribbon, early pro ring, early Mazamune, or Sun Sword. There's a lot of little things,
and that's exactly why I don't do it.
Right.
The factor in that decision was that I had not stayed at the inn. I spent my gold on the spells, and I didn't have to stay at the inn. Figured, well, I might as well go all out.
You went and booped Garland. I booped a round of imps and bought cabins.
Yeah, Czar pretty much bought double nuke and went straight up there.
That's right.
Yep.
No messing around at all.
If I had not done that, then it might have been that minute there.
But you did spend the time going back, so I mean, it's really tough to say which was quicker.
Yeah, especially with the TNT in there.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's one of those things. I think situationally you may find justification for it. But,
yeah, absolutely.
I'm personally probably not going to deviate too far from the tried and true, just because very, very high percentage of the time it's necessarily pay off.
Gentlemen, I want to thank you for your commentary. I want to thank Fiesel and Speed Gaming, our viewers, the tournament staff and community. I have a Zelda 1 randomizer race to get ready for, so G Purity, that was a great race, and again, I'm looking forward to the VOD. Thank you, everyone.
So,
yeah, good to see you in the Zelda tournament, Czar. I'll be joining in that tournament with my first race tomorrow night. I gotta start de-rusting the Zelda myself. I think I'll call it a night here, grab a brewski though, because something, I have done nothing but Final Fantasy Randomizer for the last 11 hours.
It's probably your day off, so enjoy it.
Yeah, I think I need a day off from Final Fantasy Randomizer now.
Blasphemy.
Good games, guys. Great
luck,
games, great fun hanging with you guys, and a great tournament.
Likewise. Good luck to both of you in Zelda Randomizers, and good luck to Czar in the next round, even if it's me. and thanks everybody for showing up. Thanks Fiesel. Thanks to the whole crew, and we will see you next mission.
Yep, I'll have my revenge, Czar.
Team Steak.
Team Tyra.
Team Steak.